Does that first sliver of dawn sometimes send a wave of anxiety through you? Before your feet even hit the floor, does that mental checklist of all the demands, pressures, and potential problems start running through your mind? You're definitely not alone. Millions of us wake up already feeling a bit defeated, like our peace has been stolen before the day truly even gets going. But what if there was a way, a simple, almost forgotten practice that could break that cycle of morning overwhelm? Something that takes no more than 5 minutes, yet has the power to reset your entire outlook, shifting you from dread to a quiet confidence, from chaos to a surprising deep peace. Imagine finding out that a simple, heartfelt chat with God, inspired by the wisdom of a man who guided millions, could really change everything before you even face the world. Section 1, the crushing weight of dawn, agitation. The modern morning. For so many, it's not a gentle wake-up call, but more like being suddenly thrust into a world that's already screaming for our attention. The alarm clock itself can feel like the starting gun for a race we never signed up for. And often, before our eyes are even fully focused, the first thing we see is the blue light of our smartphone, a gateway to a flood of emails demanding answers, news headlines sparking new worries, and social media feeds that just make us compare and feel discontented. The mental load hits us instantly. The peace of the night, shattered, replaced by a whole lot of noise, both inside our heads and out. Think about it for a second. That first hour of your day, how does it really feel? Is it a time of quiet reflection, of gently getting ready for what's ahead? Or is it more like a frantic scramble, a race against time, a desperate try to get ahead of a wave that feels like it's about to crash over you? This isn't just some passing discomfort. The way we start our day truly does have a huge impact, and science backs this upon our mood, our productivity, our stress levels, and even our physical health. When we kick off the day already feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and drained, we carry that energy with us. It colors how we talk to people, clouds our judgment, and chips away at our resilience. The demands feel relentless, don't they? Work projects with tight deadlines, family responsibilities that need endless juggling, financial worries that whisper at us in quiet moments, and all those societal expectations that subtly try to shape our choices and fuel our insecurities. We're bombarded with information, with stimuli, with this idea that we need to be constantly connected, constantly productive, constantly on. It's exhausting. And that exhaustion, which often starts in those first crucial moments of the day, can leave us feeling like we're always behind, never quite good enough, just running on empty. This isn't a sign of weakness, it's really a symptom of the world we live in. We're more connected than ever, yet so many of us feel more isolated. We have access to more information than any generation before us, yet wisdom can feel so hard to find. We're surrounded by opportunities, but a sense of deep, lasting peace can feel like a far-off dream. The world tells us to hustle harder, be more efficient, achieve more. But what if the answer isn't to pile more onto our already overflowing plates? What if the solution isn't about doing more, but about being more in a different way, right from the moment we wake up? That feeling of overwhelm is a thief. It steals our joy, robs us of being present, and makes us react instead of act. It can make even small challenges feel like huge mountains. When your mind is already cluttered with yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's anxieties, there's just not much room for the grace and opportunities of today. You might find yourself snapping at loved ones, struggling to focus at work, making decisions out of fear instead of faith, or just going through the motions, feeling disconnected from any real sense of purpose or peace. Life isn't meant to be lived this way. There's an alternative to this crushing weight of the morning, a path to a different kind of morning, and as a result, a different kind of day and a different kind of life. And it all starts with a simple, intentional pause. Section 2, A Whisper from the Past, the Billy Graham Connection, introducing the solution via story. In the middle of all this modern-day chaos, we can still hear echoes of wisdom from people who navigated life's challenges with a steady hand. One of those voices belongs to Billy Graham. For decades, he was a spiritual guide to millions, a voice of hope and clarity in a world that often felt confusing. His influence reached across continents, and his words touched the hearts of everyone from presidents to ordinary folks. But beyond the massive crusades and his global ministry, there was a core practice, a quiet discipline that anchored his life and his message. The incredible importance of starting each day with God. Billy Graham understood something vital about the human spirit and the rhythm of a life lived with purpose. He consistently and passionately taught that the first moments of our day are sacred. He knew that how we choose to enter the day sets the tone for everything that follows. It's in those first, often unguarded minutes that we're most vulnerable to the anxieties and distractions the world will inevitably throw at us. Or, on the flip side, it's in those same minutes that we can intentionally invite a higher power, a divine presence, to shape our perspective and strengthen our souls. Imagine a man who carried the weight of a global ministry, who faced enormous pressures and responsibilities. Where did he find his strength, his unwavering peace, his clear vision? His biographers and his own writings tell us that a big part of the answer was his disciplined approach to his personal relationship with God, especially in the quiet hours of the morning. He wasn't just preaching an idea. He was living out the conviction that turning to God before turning to the world wasn't just a nice thought, but an essential lifeline. He often stressed that this wasn't about some long, complicated ritual. It wasn't about reaching an impossible standard of spiritual perfection. Instead, it was about a heartfelt, sincere turning of the heart towards God. It was about admitting we need guidance beyond our own understanding, strength beyond our own abilities, and a peace that the world just can't offer. Billy Graham encouraged believers to consciously step away from the noise of daily worries, the pull of emails, the lure of the news, and to first seek the stillness of God's presence. Now, this isn't about a specific trademarked prayer that he passed down. It's more about the spirit of his teaching, the distilled wisdom from his own life that inspires what we might call a Billy Graham 5-minute morning prayer. It's the idea of a brief, focused, yet incredibly powerful act of devotion that can shift our inner world before we even engage with the outside one. He understood that in those quiet moments, when we consciously invite God into our day, we're basically choosing our anchor. Are we going to be anchored by the shifting sands of circumstances and emotions, or by the solid rock of divine presence and promise? The forgotten part of this prayer isn't that the words themselves were lost. It's that in our fast-paced, distraction-filled lives, the practice of such simple, focused devotion can be easily pushed aside, overlooked, or even thought of as too simple to really work. Yet, it's often in the simplest acts, done with sincere intention, that the greatest power lies. Billy Graham's life was a testament to the profound impact of consistent daily communion with God. He championed the idea that inviting God's peace, wisdom, and power into our morning could radically change not just our mood, but our entire approach to the day's challenges and opportunities. This whisper from the past, this gentle encouragement to pause and pray, holds the key to unlocking a very different kind of dire day, where overwhelm gives way to an unexpected and empowering peace. Section 3, the 5-minute blueprint, unpacking the prayer, the what and why. So, what does this 5-minute morning prayer inspired by Billy Graham's timeless wisdom, actually look like? It's not about reciting some stiff formula, but about having a heartfelt conversation with God, touching on key themes that reset our hearts and minds for the day ahead. Think of it as a blueprint for connection, simple enough for anyone to try, yet deep enough to make a real difference. Let's break down the core parts, the what and the why, that make this short practice so powerful. 1. Starting with gratitude and remembrance. The prayer often kicks off by simply acknowledging and thanking God. Billy Graham believed that gratitude is a powerful doorway to peace. When we pause, even for a moment, to count our blessings, the gift of a new day, the breath in our lungs, the people in our lives, God's past faithfulness, it shifts our focus from what we don't have to what we do have. The what? Something like, Heavenly Father, thank you for this new day. Thank you for your love, your mercy, for watching over me through the night. You might even bring to mind specific ways God has been good to you. The why. Starting with gratitude fights off that sense of entitlement or discontent that can so easily sneak in. It reminds us of God's steady provision and care, which builds hope and confidence for the hours to come. It sets a positive, thankful tone. Instead of immediately jumping into requests or worries, it helps our hearts see the abundance that's already there. 2. Surrender and trust. A key part of Graham's message was the importance of surrendering our will to God's. This 5-minute prayer is a way of saying, I depend on you for guidance and strength. It's about consciously handing over our plans, our worries, and our day to a wisdom higher than ours and a loving authority. The what? You could say, Lord, I surrender this day to you. My plans, my agenda, my desires, I lay them at your feet. Help me to trust your plan for my life, even when I don't understand it. I know I need you today. The why. Surrender isn't about giving up, it's about giving it over to someone more capable. It frees us from the burden of feeling like we have to control everything. It acknowledges that real strength and wisdom come from God, not just our own efforts. This act of trust eases anxiety because it places the ultimate responsibility for how the day unfolds in God's hands, and He's the one holding everything together. 3. Seeking God's presence, peace, wisdom, and strength. This is where we actively invite God's attributes into our day, right now. Billy Graham taught that inviting God's presence is key to navigating the day with grace. We ask for His peace to guard our hearts, His wisdom to guide our decisions, and His strength to meet our challenges. The what? For example, Father, fill me with your peace today, a peace that goes beyond all understanding. Grant me your wisdom as I make decisions, big and small. Give me your strength to face whatever comes my way. Let me feel your presence beside me. The why, we're admitting our human limits here. We often don't have the peace to stay calm under pressure, the wisdom to always choose the right thing, or the strength to get through tough times on our own. Inviting these divine qualities equips us for what the day will actually bring. God's peace acts like a buffer against stress. His wisdom lights up our path, and His strength holds us up when we feel weak. 4. Asking for guidance and purpose, mission for the day. Each day, as Graham's teaching suggests, can be seen as a kind of divine assignment. This part of the prayer is about asking God to direct our steps and to use us for His purposes to be a light to others. The what? Lord, guide my thoughts, my words, and my actions today. Show me your will for this day. Help me to be a reflection of your love and kindness to everyone I meet. Use me to make a positive difference, however small. The why. This shifts our focus from just our own concerns to a bigger, more meaningful picture. It gives us a sense of mission, reminding us that our lives have purpose beyond just getting through the day. Seeking guidance helps line up our actions with the divine plan, leading to more fruitful and fulfilling things. It helps us see our daily tasks not just as chores, but as opportunities. 5, seeking protection. Life is unpredictable, and it's natural to be concerned about safety and well-being. Graham often talked about God's protection, encouraging believers to trust Him as a refuge. The what? Protect me and my loved ones today, Lord, from harm and danger. Guard my heart and mind from fear, negativity, and temptation. Be my refuge and my fortress. The why. This acknowledges that there are unseen struggles and vulnerabilities out there. Committing our safety to God eases fear and builds a sense of security. It's an expression of trust in God's overarching care and His power to shield us. This doesn't mean bad things will never happen, but it affirms our reliance on God's loving care through all circumstances. Putting it all together, a simple 5-minute prayer inspired by these themes might flow something like this. Heavenly Father, thank you for this new day, for your unfailing love and mercy. I'm grateful for the rest you've given and the opportunities ahead. Lord, I surrender this entire day to you. My plans, my worries, my hopes, I trust in your perfect will. Fill me, I pray, with your overwhelming peace that calms my anxieties. Grant me your divine wisdom for every decision I face and your inexhaustible strength for every task before me. Guide my steps today, Father. Show me how I can serve you and reflect your light and love to those around me. Protect me and those I care about from all harm and keep my heart steadfast in you. I commit this day to you, Lord, trusting in your goodness and your presence with me. In Jesus' name, amen. The beauty of this blueprint is how flexible and short it is, 5 minutes. That's it. It's not about how eloquent your words are, but how sincere your heart is. It's a small investment of time that can bring huge returns by setting a divine direction for your entire day. It's accessible, powerful, and deeply biblical, echoing the way Jesus himself often sought his Father in prayer before facing the world's demands. This simple act of turning to God first really can begin to change everything. Section 4, the transformation, how it changes everything, benefits persuasion. Now, the claim that a mere 5-minute prayer can change everything might sound like a bit of an exaggeration, maybe even a too good to be true promise. Yet, those who consistently embrace this simple practice, drawing on the core principles Billy Graham talked about, often describe a transformation that's nothing short of profound. It's not always about an instant magical change in your external circumstances, though sometimes that happens too. More often, it's about an internal shift, a radical reordering of our inner world that in turn changes how we see, respond to, and move through the external world. This is where that changes everything promise really holds true. 1, a major shift in perspective from overwhelm to peace. Perhaps the most immediate and noticeable change is how that morning overwhelm gets replaced by a deep sense of peace. When you start your day by consciously connecting with the source of all peace, by surrendering your anxieties and burdens before they have a chance to really take hold, you create a kind of buffer. That mental checklist of tasks and worries just doesn't have the same power over you. Instead of waking up to your problems, you wake up with God, who is infinitely greater than any problem you might face. This isn't about challenges disappearing, but about a change in how you view them. The day's demands are still there, but they're seen within the bigger picture of God's presence and support. That frantic energy of "I have to do this all myself" is replaced by the calm assurance of "God is with me, He will help me." This shift in perspective is huge. It allows you to approach your day with a quieter mind and a settled heart. which is the very foundation of resilience and well-being. As Billy Graham taught, inviting God's peace in the morning prepares believers to face life's storms with calm and confidence. 2, stronger emotional resilience, handling life's ups and downs with grace. Life is full of joys and sorrows, successes and setbacks, right? This 5-minute prayer acts like a spiritual anchor, strengthening your emotional resilience. By starting your day grounded in God's presence and promises, you're better equipped to handle whatever comes your way without getting easily thrown off balance. When frustrations pop up, when plans go sideways, when difficult people cross your path, you're less likely to react impulsively or get swallowed by negativity. Why? Because your emotional starting point has been set in a place of peace and trust. You've already preloaded your spirit with divine strength. It's like charging your spiritual battery before you even step out the door. Small irritations are less likely to blow up into major meltdowns. Disappointments are met with a deeper understanding that God's plan is still unfolding. This resilience doesn't mean you become emotionless. It means your emotions no longer dictate your responses in a destructive way. You find you can feel things deeply yet still respond wisely. 3, increased clarity and focus, tuning into God's guidance. In a world overflowing with information and competing voices, clarity of thought and purpose is incredibly valuable. Starting your day by seeking God's wisdom and guidance helps clear the mental fog. When you intentionally ask for His direction, you become more tuned into His leading throughout the day. Maybe through a scripture that comes to mind, a nudge from your conscience, an insightful conversation, or an unexpected opportunity. This doesn't mean you'll get a detailed to-do list for your day every morning, but it does mean you develop a greater sensitivity to those divine promptings and a more discerning spirit. Decisions that once felt overwhelming can become clearer when you look at them through the lens of what would honor God in this situation, or what is the loving, wise path forward. This focus helps you prioritize what truly matters and navigate complexities with more confidence, knowing you're not just relying on your own limited understanding. 4, a deeper sense of purpose, every day filled with meaning. One of the most profound ways this prayer changes everything is by filling your daily life with a renewed sense of purpose. When you pray to be used by God, to be a reflection of His love, your perspective on even the most ordinary tasks begins to shift. Your work, your interactions, your responsibilities are no longer just items on a to-do list. They become ways you can live out your faith and make a positive impact. This sense of mission fights off that aimlessness and drudgery that can so easily settle in. Knowing that your day, no matter how ordinary it might seem, is part of a larger divine story brings significance and motivation. You start to see divine appointments where you once saw random encounters. You look for opportunities to encourage, to serve, to speak a kind word, understanding that these small acts can have eternal ripples. This turns every day into an adventure with God, rather than just a cycle of duties. 5, unexpected strength and capacity, meeting demands with divine help. Billy Graham's prayers often acknowledge life's trials, while also affirming God's power to bring strength and victory. This 5-minute prayer connects you to that divine empowerment. You're not just asking for strength in a general way, you're tapping into an infinite wellspring. This often translates into an ability to handle pressures, workloads, and challenges that previously felt overwhelming. It's that feeling of finding you have more patience than you thought, more energy than you expected, more creative solutions than you could have come up with on your own. This isn't about you not putting in effort, but about your effort being multiplied and sustained by a strength beyond your own. It's the quiet miracle of God working in and through you, enabling you to do what you couldn't do alone. This is the practical reality of I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The transformation touches everything. It touches your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your relationships, and your overall experience of life. What starts as a simple 5-minute act of devotion ripples outward, creating a wave of positive change. The peace you find in the morning becomes the peace you carry into your interactions. The wisdom you seek guides your decisions all day long. The strength you receive empowers you to overcome obstacles. The purpose you embrace gives meaning to your efforts. This is how, little by little, day by day, a 5-minute morning prayer doesn't just improve your morning, it truly begins to change everything. It's a pathway to living, not just a busy life, but a blessed and impactful one, grounded in the unwavering presence of God. Section 5, making it your own, practical steps, encouragement. Starting this kind of transformative practice doesn't require a theology degree or hours of dedicated time that, let's be honest, most of us don't have. The beauty of this Billy Graham-inspired 5-minute morning prayer is its powerful simplicity and how easy it is to get started. Here's how you can begin to make it your own and weave it into the rhythm of your daily life. First, and this is probably the most important step, find your 5 minutes. This might mean waking up just 5 or 10 minutes earlier than usual. It could be before you even get out of bed. Billy Graham himself sometimes did this, silently committing the day to God. It could be with your first cup of coffee before the rest of the house starts stirring. The specific timing isn't as crucial as your intention. Look for a little pocket of quiet, a brief pause before the day's demands fully hit. Protect this time, even if it feels like a small sacrifice. The peace and perspective it brings are truly priceless. Next, create a good atmosphere if you can. While you can pray anywhere, as Billy Graham often said, finding a relatively quiet spot where you're less likely to be interrupted can be really helpful, especially when you're just forming the habit. This might be a favorite chair, a corner of a room, or even a quiet walk if that works for you. Try to minimize distractions. Maybe leave your phone in another room or keep it on silent for these precious few minutes. The goal is to create a space, both physically and mentally, where you can turn your attention inward and upward. Then, don't overcomplicate it. Seriously. Remember, this is a conversation, not a performance. You don't need fancy words or perfectly structured speech. Just speak from your heart. Use those blueprint themes we talked about: gratitude, surrender, seeking God's presence and guidance, asking for protection and purpose, as gentle prompts, not a rigid script. Some days you might spend more time on gratitude. Other days you might feel a really strong need for strength or guidance. Let the prayer be fluid and respond to what you genuinely need and how the Spirit leads you. The sample prayer we shared earlier is just a starting point, a model to adapt and make your own. Consistency is key. Like any good habit, the power of this morning prayer grows with consistency. It's better to pray for 5 minutes every day than for an hour once a week. There will be days when you feel more connected and days when your mind wanders. That's completely normal. The act of just showing up, of making that intentional effort to connect with God is what truly matters. Don't get discouraged if you miss a day. Just start again the next. Billy Graham himself talked about the discipline of daily devotion, highlighting how important it is for a lasting relationship with God. If you're feeling a bit skeptical, approach it with an open heart and a willingness to just try it. Maybe you're unsure if 5 minutes can really make a difference. The best way to find out is to give it a shot. Commit to it for a week or even a month. Pay attention to how you feel, not just during the prayer, but throughout your day. Notice any shifts in your stress levels, your responses to challenges, your overall sense of peace or purpose. Let your own experience be your guide. Many people, like those inspired by Graham's teachings, find that this small act brings unexpectedly big results. Finally, approach this time with expectation and faith. Believe that God hears you. Believe that He wants to meet you in these quiet moments. Believe that He is able and willing to provide the peace, strength, and guidance you're looking for. Prayer is more than just making a wish. It's an act of faith directed towards a God who loves you and is actively involved in your life. This isn't about trying to get God to give you what you want, but about aligning your heart with His, inviting His presence into your day, and opening yourself to the amazing work He wants to do in you and through you. Remember, the goal isn't to add another stressful item to your to-do list, but to discover a source of deep peace and strength. This 5-minute investment is an act of self-care, spiritual nourishment, and real wisdom. It's a simple, powerful way to honor God with the first part of your day and to set a course for a life increasingly filled with His peace and purpose. We've talked about the fog of morning overwhelm, looked back at the timeless wisdom of Billy Graham, and unpacked the simple yet powerful blueprint of a 5-minute morning prayer that truly has the power to reset your entire day and ultimately your life. We've seen how this intentional act of gratitude, surrender, seeking God's presence, guidance, and protection can shift your perspective, build your resilience, bring clarity, instill purpose, and unlock a strength you might not even know you have. The promise here isn't a life suddenly free of challenges, but a life navigated with an unshakable companion, an inner peace that circumstances can't steal, and a divine strength that rises to meet every demand. It's about transforming your mornings from a source of stress into a sanctuary of connection, setting a tone of peace and purpose that ripples through every hour that follows. Billy Graham's legacy reminds us that a consistent, heartfelt turning to God, especially at the start of each day, isn't just a ritual, it's a vital, life-changing practice. So, the invitation is now yours. Will you accept it? Will you carve out those 5 precious minutes to invest in your spiritual well-being, to consciously invite God into the very fabric of your day? Imagine the cumulative effect of starting each day for the next week, the next month, the next year, grounded in His peace and guided by His wisdom. Imagine the everything that could change for you. I really encourage you, starting tomorrow morning, to try this for yourself. Set your alarm just a few minutes earlier. Find your quiet space. Open your heart. Speak to God. Use the themes we've discussed as your guide. You have nothing to lose and potentially a whole new experience of your days to gain. If this message has resonated with you, if it sparked a desire for a deeper connection with God and a more peace-filled life, please give this video a like. It helps others find this message of hope. And I'd love to hear from you. What are your biggest challenges in the morning? Or, if you already practice some form of morning prayer, how has it impacted your life? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs to begin their own journey. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on more content designed to bring faith, hope, and practical wisdom into your daily life. Remember, the God who created the universe, the God whom Billy Graham passionately proclaimed, desires a personal relationship with you. He is waiting, listening, ready to meet you in the quiet of your morning. Take those 5 minutes, offer Him your day, and watch how He begins to change everything. May your mornings be transformed, and may your days be filled with His unexpected peace and abundant grace.